Hey everyone, how's it going? I hope you all are following up with me making this beautiful blanket, and it would mean the world to me if you mention it in the comments below and let me know your progress. We'll be going further with the project today and completing rows number 13 to 22, which is a good chunk for a day. But before we go to the next part of the pattern, if you landed here directly, a very warm welcome to my channel Yarnoculus. My name is Anjana and this is the place where we make cute and simple crochet projects together and have a lot of fun. So please consider hitting the subscribe button and joining me on this crochet joyride. For this series, I would highly recommend you to check out part 1 where I discuss the materials and the stitches used and the pattern from row 1 to row 12. And that's going to give you all the context to get up to speed and come back to this video for the next set of rows. With all that said, I can't wait to show you the next part of this pattern. So without wasting any more time, let's get started with row number 13. Let's go. Alright guys, at the end of row number 12, you'll see your nice little boxes coming to life, and the last thing you would do on row number 12 after the last single crochet is a chain 1 and turn. Okay, now for row number 13, we're gonna start with 3 single crochet as well. 1, 2 and 3. Okay, followed by a bobble stitch, followed by 8 single crochets, do a bobble stitch next, and a single crochet each in the next 8 stitches. The last thing for this box would be a bobble stitch. And by now you must have guessed that you need to do 7 single crochets between the 2 boxes. So let's go ahead and do 7 single crochets. Okay, and that's gonna be your repeat for the whole of row number 13. So go ahead and do a bobble stitch, 8 single crochets, bobble stitch, 8 single crochets, bobble stitch, and 7 single crochets for all of these boxes until you reach the last box. For the last box, you're gonna do a bobble stitch, 8 single crochets, bobble stitch, 8 single crochets, bobble stitch, and 4 single crochets. That's gonna be your row number 13, and row number 14, being an even row, is gonna be single crochet in every stitch. So go ahead, complete row number 13 and 14, and we'll take it further from row number 15. Alright guys, so that's how beautiful your work should look at the end of row number 14, and let's start with row number 15. Okay, so as usual, you're gonna chain 1, turn your work, and start with 3 single crochets. So that's something you're gonna do for each and every row. Just start with 3 single crochets. Okay, and then after that we need to do a bobble stitch. That's the start of your first box. Okay, now for row number 15, after the bobble stitch, you need to do 7 single crochets. Okay, 7 single crochets done. Let's do a bobble next. Okay, bobble stitch followed by a single crochet, followed by another bobble stitch. Alright, once that is done, let's go back to 7 single crochets. And after the 7 single crochets, you need to do a bobble stitch again. Followed by 7 single crochets between the 2 boxes. And that's gonna be your repeat for row number 15, and you're gonna start with 3 single crochets, 1 bobble stitch, 7 single crochets, bobble, single crochet, bobble, 7 single crochets, bobble, and 7 single crochets between the 2 boxes. Okay, continue this till you reach the last box, and when you reach the last bobble stitch, you're gonna be left with 4 single crochets to end this row. After that, you need to do a chain stitch and row number 16, which is gonna be a row of single crochet in every stitch. So go ahead, finish rows number 15 and 16. I'll finish my work too, and we'll see what the pattern is for row number 17 onwards. Okay guys, so you should start seeing the tip of your hearts at the end of row number 16. So let's go on to make row number 17. So for row number 17, as usual, you're gonna chain 1, turn your work, start with 3 single crochets and a bobble stitch. Okay, followed by 6 single crochets, okay, a bobble stitch after the 6 single crochets, three single crochets after that, followed by a bobble stitch, and 6 single crochets after that. Put a bobble stitch in the next, and you're gonna do the 7 single crochets that's between the 2 boxes. Okay, that's gonna be your repeat for row number 17. So you're gonna start with 3 single crochets, do a bobble next, 6 single crochets, bobble, 3 single crochets, bobble, 6 single crochets, bobble, and 7 single crochets. Repeat this for the whole of row number 17, and row number 18 is gonna be a row of single crochet in every stitch. So go ahead, do that. We will see what we need to do from row number 19 onwards. So at the end of row number 18, this is how your work's gonna look. Really beautiful, coming up really nice, and ready for row number 19. So chain 1, turn your work, and start with 3 single crochets, and a bobble stitch. Okay, and then we need to do 5 single crochets. bobble stitch next. Followed by 5 single crochets again. Followed by a bobble stitch. And end the box with 5 single crochets. The border of the box is gonna be a bobble stitch. And 7 single crochets between 2 boxes. That's gonna be your repeat for row number 19. Start with 3 single crochets to a bobble stitch, 5 single crochets, bobble stitch, 5 single crochets, bobble stitch, 5 single crochets and bobble stitch, and 7 single crochets as usual between the 2 boxes. Okay, so continue doing this for the whole of row number 19. Chain 1, turn your work and do row number 20 as well, which is gonna be a row of single crochet in every stitch. I'll tell you what we need to do from row number 21 onwards. So let's finish this first and we'll be back for row number 21. Alright guys, at the end of row number 20, your cute little hearts would have started showing up just like we want them to, and we are all set to start row number 21. Okay, so for row number 21, chain 1, turn your work and start with 3 single crochets as you do with every other row. A bobble stitch of course after that. Followed by 4 single crochets. A bobble stitch next. Followed by 7 single crochets. A bobble stitch next. And 4 single crochets for this box. The last thing for the first box is gonna be a bobble stitch. And as usual, between 2 boxes you would have 7 single crochets. And that's gonna be your repeat for row number 21. You're gonna start with 3 single crochets followed by a bobble stitch, 4 single crochets, 1 bobble, 7 single crochets, 1 bobble, 4 single crochets, 1 bobble, and 7 single crochets between the 2 boxes. Okay, do that for the whole of row number 21. In the end, you're just gonna be left with 4 single crochets after the bobble stitch, and chain 1, turn your work, do row number 22, which is gonna be a row of single crochet in every stitch. I'll meet you at the start of row number 23 and we'll see what we need to do next. Alright then, I think this is a good point to stop for today. Hope you all are following along, and do let me know if you have any feedback, questions or suggestions for me. I'm going to be back with part 3 and we'll continue from row number 23 onwards. Until then, take care and happy crocheting!